Asmongold, everybody. Let's talk about Asmongold. He has opinions on trans people in sports.
Female competition at the Olympics following a review of evidence about the breaking transgender athletes are banned from female competition at the Olympics following a review of evidence about the sporting advantages of being born male. The new policy may also bar female athletes with differences of sex development, possibly including boxers like Iman Khalif. I agree with that. I do.
So you agree that women should be barred from boxing competitions? Because if we're talking about Iman Khalif, we're talking about a cis woman now. We are just talking about a cis woman.
The reason why is that women, so this is the reason why, I mean, this is obviously a huge W. This is 100% the right decision. This always should have been the case. It is an embarrassment that it wasn't. But yes, finally, common sense and reason have prevailed. So transgender athletes now are not...
Can you give a reason as to why that's the case? Like, okay, here, I'm just gonna pull this up real quick. So this is what he's reading off of, right? Strict new policy may also bar female athletes with differences of sex development from competing. Let's see here. The Olympics is increasingly likely to ban transgender athletes from all female competition following a science-based review of evidence. Well, what other evidence would you use? Also, bear in mind, he's talking about something from The Telegraph. The Telegraph is known for being a right-wing news source. So, following a science-based review of evidence. Now, are they going to actually give any insight into that at all? Nene Goblin says this just sounds like a pointless will they, won't they fluff piece. Yes, exactly. Olympics ready to ban. This is what you say when you haven't actually done anything yet. Saying the Olympics is increasingly likely to ban, which is different than this.
Breaking transgender athletes are banned from female competition at the Olympics following...
Look at the way that this is having to be strained. The article says likely to ban. The title says ready to ban. The Twitter post says are to be banned. And so Asmongold says are banned. Do you guys see how that fucking language game happened? Do you see how that divide happened there? That little game of telephone? Kirsty Coventry, the new president of the International Olympic Committee, said she favored a blanket ban and after winning the presidency in March, commissioned a review that assessed the permanent physical advantages of being born male. That sounds like putting the cart before the horse. Let's see here. An update was provided last week. Although no final decision has been made, the update from IOC members reportedly stated that the scientific evidence showed there were physical advantages to being born male that remained even after reducing testosterone levels. Yeah, the older studies on this showed that too. It was within, what, a 6%? It was like a 6% difference. And the reason that it was not considered was because a 6% difference from how a male operates to how a female operates is the same margin of error that you have for within different people of who happen to be female or different people who happen to be male. Like, it's within the same margin of error. The IOC's current policy is that individual sports should decide their own rules, leaving a mixture of approaches. Athletics and swimming ban transgender athletes, while sports such as football permit transgender competitors as long as they've taken measures to reduce their testosterone levels. It's all the scapegoat of trying to eliminate the, like, 2 people who compete in sports at this level who are trans. Just try to kick them out. Keep the minorities out, and then you're not going to have any problems, is what this really boils down to. Nanny Goblin says, I bet you there's not a single quote from the Olympic organizers in there. I mean, there kind of was when they mentioned Kitty Coventry, who's the new president of the International Olympic Committee. I actually want to see here, or Kirsty. I want to see what your history is real quick. She was a Zimbabwean politician, okay? And she was a former competitive swimmer. She has served as the president of the committee since June. Now, I'm not actually familiar with Zimbabwe. Is Zimbabwe generally an anti-trans country? I'm not familiar with it at all. In 2012, she was elected to the International Olympic Committee Athletes Commission and has served as an IOC member since 2013. In 2023, she became an elected member of the IOC Executive Board. She was announced as one of the 7 candidates running to succeed as the IOC president. Okay. A few African countries are, don't remember Zimbabwe is one of them. Because, like, I would be worried that she's taking the politics of her country and moving them into here. But just skimming all of this, I'm not seeing anything that, like, jumps out at me, which is at least something. Like, that is at least something decent. That said, I wonder if somebody else is covering this that won't be as biased. Let's see here. Olympics, trans ban, ground news. Let's see here. Sky News. Well, Sky News is the Australian right-wing place, right? This is mostly getting covered by the right wing, according to Pink News, or according to Ground News. Let's see what Pink News says. Olympics organizers reportedly planning full ban on transgender women in women's events. The International Olympic Committee may follow the lead of the U.S. Olympic Paralympic Committee by banning trans women from competing in all women's events. Olympic chiefs are also said to be looking at prohibiting athletes with different in sex development from taking parts in the games. The changes are being considered following a presentation at IOC members by the director of their Health, Medicine, and Science Department, Dr. Jane Thornton. She is reported to have highlighted the potential physical advantages trans women have in women's sports, despite other studies showing that they have no such edge at an elite level. Okay, so this was written in 2023, and I don't think the biology of trans people has changed in that time, but we've also seen that different reports have been made in the last few years in an attempt to throw trans people under the bus. The Cass report was made, on the other side of the pond. The United States commissioned one as well. Trump was trying to find an anti-trans report that could be made to mirror the Cass report. So I'm curious if this actual study or this actual presentation is free of any biases. In July, in a move that aligned with anti-trans executive order signed by Donald Trump, the U.S. Olympic Committee quietly changed the eligibility rules with a short, vaguely worded paragraph outlining a new policy. The revised policy stated that the committee was committed to protecting the opportunities for athletes participating in sport and will work with the International Olympic Committee, the International Paralympic Committee, and the national governing bodies of each Olympic sport to ensure that women have a fair and safe competition environment consistent with the executive order. With Executive Order 1421. Okay, hold on a minute. Asmon, wait a minute. Asmon, are you sure that your information is based on reality? Or is your information being based almost entirely off of the Olympics Committee trying to scramble to find a way to comport themselves to what President Donald Trump's whims are? Because this seems to be this is why I wanted to find a different news outlet covering this thing. Ground News doesn't sponsor me, but God, I wish they would. But this feels to me like what happens when you as an individual take the information from one news publication and you don't look at the information from another news publication, because the Telegraph, being a right-wing news outlet, really likes to just say, hey, trans people shouldn't be in sport, end of story, it's common sense, blah, 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 blah. Asmongold likes to repeat that, and then you get other news organizations that are more left-oriented that go, this affects some of our people, let's look a little deeper into it. The Olympics was changing its standards, around the same time as the executive order came out, and they changed their standards in order to comply with the executive order. It would make perfect sense to me if they also tried doing the same thing that the Cass report attempted to do by going, hey, let's go find the anti-trans evidence so that we can have a foundation to be anti-trans now. Asmon, I feel like we have found where your bullshit is stinking from.
1,000 people will all be men. It will be 1,000 out of 1,000 men. That's it. And so not true? Well, it is absolutely true. And yeah, ping pong, yes, exactly. With exceptions. What exceptions? Long distance running, for example. That's the first one I can think of. Extremely very, very long distance marathon running. Women and men are, men probably come out ahead on average more, but there's much more parity with that. Go to the charts. Well, I am. That's what I'm saying, right? And gymnastics, yeah, sure. Doubt it. Well, either way, tennis.
Wait, so somebody said go to the charts, and does he go to the charts? Let's see. I want to see him go to the charts.
Wow, I can't look at this. Can you guys believe this? Oh my god. This is I would have never expected this.
This is a chart on grip strength, by the way. It's a chart on grip strength. It doesn't factor in testosterone levels. It doesn't factor in what happens after HRT. It doesn't factor in anything other than just it is grip strength.
This is so weird. So it's showing that men are stronger than women. Wow. Men are stronger? Yes, it is. And Jorkin grip strength? Yeah, the charts never lie. No, they don't. Well, at least this one doesn't. And so the last awards seem to be stripped of the men that let women.
Oh, I see. He's just grabbing the fucking chart that comes up when he scrolls through Twitter. Is this how Asmongold does analysis? Does he just see a Twitter post and then just looks at the stuff in response to the Twitter post and then doesn't give any more context, doesn't look for any more information, doesn't dig any deeper into anything? Does he just see a Twitter post and then see the responses and that's it? That's so sad. What a pathetic loser. Man, why did Xander Hall have a fucking boner for you for so long? Jesus Christ.
Have another chance to reclaim the titles. Oh, this woman, yeah, sure. Right, I think that's like a very, very like unique circumstance. Thank you to the quote culture warriors who spoke boldly the truth and prevailed. This is obviously something that should have happened. Everybody should have known this. It should have never even been a question. Let's see if I can.
So here's the thing about how science works, Asmon. We actually do get to ask those questions. We get to ask questions that seem like they may buck against common sense, because I could say it's common sense the moon is made of cheese because Swiss is a kind of cheese, and Swiss cheese looks the same color and shade, and it has holes in it, and obviously that means the moon is Swiss cheese. And I can say that to a group of a bunch of fucking kids who don't know any better, and they'll go like, yeah, of course the moon's made of cheese. Because their common sense, their preconceived biases lead them down that path. Actual evidence shows that's not the case. Go one level higher. The sun's a ball of fire. And somebody will go, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a ball of fire. And then you have to sit there and go, yeah, common sense is the big ball of fire in the sky is a ball of fire. And then you have to pull the wool out from under them and go, no, 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 no. It's not a ball of fire. It's a ball of plasma. Fire operates in an oxygen-rich environment, burning up the oxygen in there. Plasma works differently. And then suddenly you get a bunch of people who don't realize that they've been led down a path. They've been led astray there. But common sense was it was a ball of fire. Nanny Goblin says, also, what sports does grip strength have an effect on? I mean, it's the Olympics. There's usually some weird esoteric sports that are done in there.
Watch this here.
This is a notable shift in position from the International Olympic Committee. Previously, they'd left it to individual sports to decide whether or not transgender women could compete in women's sport. But now...
Yeah, I mean, I think that the reality is that everybody knows that this is bullshit. Everybody knows that it's retarded and it's bullshit. The only reason why people put up with it is that there was a coalition of people that would systematically try to destroy your life in every single way possible if you took any oppositional role towards trans people being able to do anything that they wanted.
So I kind of agree with that, actually. There are people who will take those positions on anything, be it trans people, AI, religious freedoms, like anything. You take a position that is even slightly adjacent to theirs and they will jump down your throats. Absolutely. And those people don't do us any favors. But I also don't think that those people factor in here.
Sky News understands that the International Olympic Committee is moving towards a blanket ban.
That's the only reason why this ever happened. Is that, like, you needed to have a total, like...
Wait. Hold on. Are you sure the only reason this ever happened is because of people getting mad on the internet? Or is it, perchance, that we have had reports on this shit? That's weird that the link didn't go anywhere. Awkward. Okay. Fun. Why is the link not going anywhere now? Page not found. Why is the page on previous research on trans people erased? Why is it gone? That's interesting. Okay, so now we've got a rabbit hole to go down. Now we've got a rabbit hole to go down. Said, is there a Wayback copy? Maybe. Let's see here. Okay, so page not found there as well. Why is this research just disappeared? Why are there so many instances of this page that don't exist? Thank you for the hydrate stuff. Huh. So this is evidence of something a little more concerning to me. Let me see if I can find the original version of it. There we are. Found it. Okay. So here we are. Is it maybe, possibly, that the problem, Asmon, has been that trans people would attack you online, and so the Olympics committee made rules because they were worried about the spooky trans people attacking them online? Or is it that previous research said such things as, there is currently no substantial research evidence of any biological advantages that would impede the fairness of trans women competing in elite women's sport. There currently exists no evidence to suggest that trans women who elect to suppress testosterone through, for example, gender-affirming hormone therapy or surgical gonad removal maintain a disproportionate advantage over cis women indefinitely. More specifically, current evidence suggests any biological advantages trans women have in sports performance do not fall outside the range observed among cis women after testosterone suppression. Cosmic Cat, think about the follow. Red blood count is still well within cis women's range after 4 months of testosterone suppression. Strength is a possible exception, a topic on which research is limited or non-existent. Available related research seems to suggest that strength decrease over time after suppression, demonstrated through significant decreases in strength after 12 months of suppression and ongoing decreases after the arbitrary 1-year mark. Even so, the cutoff levels of testosterone for trans women and of the length of time after testosterone suppression in current sports policies are not currently evidence-based. Most biologically based studies focus on the question of appropriate levels of testosterone for testosterone-suppressed trans women for fair competition among women, cis and trans, and did not arrive at a consensus about whether the question of testosterone is the most salient biological marker, nor assuming testosterone is an imperfect proxy of heightened or unfair advantage in performance, at what levels such advantages are incurred. Further, there is currently no existing evidence on the measurable difference testosterone has on lean muscle mass for active versus sedentary individuals, and no research in the context of high-performance athletes that would help understand, for example, testosterone uptake capacities amongst cis women and trans women athletes. There are questions which remain about what length of time gender-affirming hormone therapies are appropriate to be comparable to cis women of various factors, as well as questions about the definitions of what can be celebrated as a biological gift versus condemned as an unfair advantage, and where the boundaries of those are. Additional biomarkers such as hand grip strength, like Asmon pointed out, have been used uncritically in positivist biological studies to demonstrate cis men's purported biological advantages over cis women. Wow! The exact example that you gave, Asmon, is the one that is noted in the study that has somehow been deleted off the internet around the time of January 2025. Wonder if anything weird happened around that time that would have caused that. That's so weird to me that the example you gave is given as the example that a fucking idiot would give when they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. Wow. That's so weird. That's so strange. Asmon, you're a moron. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.